Hello, hello, amigos. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Fasten your seatbelts because it's time for liftoff.
T minus 10.
Let's
9,
go.
8.
Countdown.
7, 6.
5, 4,
3,
3, 2, 1.
0.
Let's go.
Ignition. Liftoff.
Woohoo!
After the hour.
Here we go, amigos. Hold on to your hats.
Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time on Vaughn Radio. It's the show with no name. On Vaughn Radio. It's the show. Let's go.
All right, amigos, welcome aboard. Now it's official. It's the show with no name on Vaughn Radio, and I'm excited, o te lo digo a la americana, I'm psyched, I'm stoked. Estos son dos formas a la americana de decir, tengo muchas ganas, estoy mentalizado. I'm psyched, que viene de psicología, P-S-Y-C-H. I am psyched or stoked, S-T-O-K-E-D. And we're already learning tons of vocabulary, and we just started about a minute ago. So welcome aboard, everybody. Just a quick reminder, you can participate on this show and all of our shows. This one is on YouTube, and I see we have so many people participating in the live stream as we speak. Ooh, that was a bit of a tongue twister. Un poco trabalenguas. A couple shout outs before we get started. Fran Javier says, morning to you all. Morning, Alberto. Morning, Fran. Great to have you here. Oscar says, hello, everybody. Hello to you too, Oscar. And how could we have a show without our buddy, Born to Iron Man, who's checking in and saying, good morning, friends. Well, good morning to all of you. There's Marta too. Good morning. Great to see you all so cheerful. Risueños. See you. Well, it's midweek. It's Thursday. Sometimes, you could be at that point where you're just a little bit tired, a little bit pooped. ¿Qué? Pooped? Como cagado? Well, no. In this case, pooped means tired. So if you say, I pooped, eso es yo cagué. If you say, I'm pooped, ves, ahí estamos hablando de matices. We're talking about little nuances. Also, guys, remember to download the Vaughn Radio app. This way you have access to all our shows whenever, wherever, as Shakira would say. And a couple things in the Vaughn world, just some news I'll give you. We've got our trivia night, our first trivia night after our summer break. It'll be hosted by the one and only El Mismísimo Kyle Miller. And I hope you guys can make it. I hope I can make it too. Of course, my plan is to be there. And that's going to be on Wednesday, the 21st of September. It's 2022. I always say the year, people hear these down the road and I don't want them to show up on the wrong day. So it's Wednesday, the 21st of September, 2022. You are in for a treat. Te espera una sorpresa because Kyle Miller is going to be hosting a totally free trivia night, and it's all going to be taking place at Calle de Amaniel 23. Write that down. Remember, the number goes first in English, so it would be 23 Amaniel Street. The name of the bar, the name of the restaurant is Roll Madrid. You can call it an eatery in this case. And I hope to see you there. Kyle Miller will be putting you to the test, your knowledge, also with some trivia questions. And anybody who's ever been knows that a good time is guaranteed. So that's our trivia. Also, we've got our Disney. It's right here. We're on the cusp. Estamos en el borde. Saturday, the 10th of September 2022, you'll be able to get Toy Story 4. That's right, Toy Story 4. And Vaughn and Disney have collaborated on this amazing collection that's going to come out with Marca and El Mundo. Every Saturday, you can get the first one, which is narrated by yours truly, un servidor. And we're really excited about it. Ximena Holiday has worked on it so much. Tommy Hay voiced some of the books. Tosh Pasqua as well. So everybody who has worked on it is extremely proud of it. And it's going to see the light of day this coming Saturday, September 10th. And you can pick it up at newsstands, kioscos. You can get it with Marca or El Mundo. And we made a little radio jingle. I'm sure many of you have heard it. It's short and sweet, but this will give you all the information. And if you don't have it, it's because you haven't subscribed to our mailing list. Remember, we have a mailing list at Vaughn, so if you want to get more information about that, you can go on over to grupovaughn.com. If you're looking for materials, you can go to vaughntienda.com. But this is a great gift, this Disney Vaughn collection, and here's the information.
Imagina que tus hijos aprendieran inglés a su ritmo y de forma autodidacta. Además, que pudieran hacerlo con sus personajes de dibujos favoritos. ¿Te lo imaginas? Pues esto es ahora una realidad. Cars, Frozen, Monstruos S.A., El Rey León. Te traemos en exclusiva una impresionante colección de 20 libros bajo el sello Disney Vaughan para que tus hijos aprendan inglés mientras se divierten con sus personajes favoritos de Disney. Una edición única con imágenes espectaculares y audios divertidos y didácticos. Este sábado, primera entrega, Toy Story 4, por €1 en tu kiosco, con El Mundo y Marca.
There you go, folks. You might recognize that voice too, but definitely pick up a copy this Saturday. It's going to come with all the different classics. And I worked on Cars. I can't even remember now. But it is worth it. Vale la pena. It's a collection like you've never seen before because, okay, there are a lot of maybe Disney collections, but Disney collections that help you learn English, I don't know how many of those there are on the market. So check it out this Saturday, this coming Saturday, and every Saturday thereafter. It's a great Christmas present if you get somebody the whole collection. If you want more information, again, you can go to our website. It's grupovaughn.com. You can also follow us. I highly recommend you follow us on social media because myself, Vaughn, my colleagues, we're constantly teaching you English using our resources, you know, the materials we have, our radio shows, our books, and hey, the best way we know how. And very often, I was going to say from time to time, but no, I should be honest here. Quite frequently, I get so many amazing comments from you guys, from our listeners, and I get them on YouTube, I get them on Facebook, Instagram. I get them even, I get some to my email as well. So I just, I want to thank you guys. And you know what? I like to read some of those comments from time to time to see if it inspires other people. So you're going to hear from your fellow students, right? Tus mismos, los alumnos, amigos tuyos. You're going to hear from them now. I've chosen 3. Remember, I'm so lucky. I get so much positive feedback. I get a few negative things from time to time, but hey, I welcome everything. Listen, you got to take the good with the bad. But I'm not going to read the negative ones here. I will take note but I'm not going to read them aloud on the air. And again, they're few and far between, que es una forma de decir, hay muy pocas. So I'm going to read these to you right now. But first, I want to check in with two more people who just joined us in the chat. Remember, if you want to join us in the chat live, in the live stream, you can go over to YouTube and participate in the comments. Lemura says, good morning, Alberto and friends. Good morning to you, Lemura. Always a pleasure to have you on board. There's my dad, and he says, good morning, Alberto, family and friends. Greetings from Greenwood Lake, New York. Great. It seems like everybody is on board and ready to rock, and that is great. I'm stoked. I'm psyched, to use the words from before. All right, well, let's hear from some of your fellow students who have written to me, and I'll give their names. I don't think there's anything weird being said. They're just saying thank you, or that they learned a lot, or what, I don't think we're exposing anything about anybody. So let's cue some, some sappy music. Let's get some movie music, some epic music. There we go. Yeah, I like that. All right, well, the first one is from U Channel, who, by the way, go over to YouTube. If you're learning Spanish, it's U Channel, con una U. And U Channel says, it's great to have you on YouTube. I learned English with you guys, and now I teach Spanish online. Wow, that's great. With the Vaughn style of teaching. Oh my God, even better. It changed my life. Wow. And then I responded. I said, thank you so much. This comment made my day. And then U Channel responded again and said, I took a picture with you 4 or 5 years ago at the book fair. You signed the book English on the Go for me. At that time, I was able to exchange a couple of words in English with you. Now, I speak for hours with my students in English. I will always be grateful. Oh my God, what a beautiful comment. Thank you, U Channel. We got another one from D. Martin Foro, and he says, Alberto Alonso is an excellent English teacher. Thank you. And thank you for capitalizing English. The best I've ever had. Oh no. Thank you. Look at this smile. I love the show with no name. With him, you'll love English and you'll feel like exploring the language and the English-speaking countries. Well, thank you so much, D. Martin Foro. And we also got a comment from Borislav. Borislav, who's from the old school. He's an OG, an original gangster, an original show with no namer. And he says, you are getting better and better with every new season, my friend. I'm not surprised. With motivation like Lara, it couldn't be any other way. So, wow, some really amazing comments over here from you guys, our listeners. Remember, if you want to send us comments, that's great. I try to get to all of them. Thankfully, I get a lot of comments from you guys, and I'm so lucky because I get feedback every day from my students, from my listeners, and that is beautiful. But with that comes some responsibility. You also get put to the test every single day. I put your English to the test daily, and all that as we have some fun. So why don't we kick off with today's pop quiz? That's right, my amigos. It is our pop quiz only on the show with no name. And remember, this is where we challenge you. Remember before I said you should be following Vaughn. You should be following my classmates. Bueno, también estamos aprendiendo español todos. My classmates, my workmates, my colleagues. Really, both of those sound too formal. Coworker. No, they're my friends. And if you haven't listened to them, you can tune into all the amazing shows we have. Just download the Vaughn Radio app and you'll have access to everything. And that's, Northern English accents, Irish accents, Australian accents. And that's all by downloading the Vaughn Radio app. And you'll have access to tons of English classes, hours and hours of English class and fresh content every single day just by having the Vaughn Radio app. So download that, or if you're a podcast listener like I am, you can listen wherever you tune into podcasts. All right, well, today's pop quiz comes from our amigos at Vaughn. Remember to follow them on social media. It's Grupo Vaughan or Grupo Vaughn. And I love this section. They have a section that they do, and it's called Other Ways to Say. And I love it because even native speakers, we have this tendency to say, I'm very scared, when you can just say, I'm petrified, right? Like yesterday's song. At first I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. All right, sorry, I couldn't help it. No lo pude evitar. Y eso es otra canción. For I can't help falling in love with you. All right, I'll stop singing, but if it helps you learn structures in English, awesome. O como decimos, esto es bastante nuevo en los Estados Unidos, pero se dice, es un poco medio broma, pero awesome sauce. O sea, salsa molona, que significa es la bomba. All right, so these are other ways to say things. And so they gave us, oh my God, I didn't hear you. It's so difficult. Hurry up. I understand. Good luck. I'm busy. And I'm sorry. That's pretty good because those are really common those are really common things we say, but there are other ways to say them. So can you, and I'd love for you to use it in context. So don't just tell me, oh my God is, te doy la primera. Oh my God, geez Louise. A veces lo digo aquí en el programa sin querer, right? Geez Louise. Come on. Jesus Christ. Obviously you can say it many different ways, but so give it to me in context. Geez Louise, you're late again. No, porque ahí ya no solo estás enseñándome cómo se dice, oh my God, no me diga, come on. Pero también me lo estás poniendo en contexto. So if you want to participate, you can participate in our chat, and hopefully you guys will participate along with us. All right, so I'll go over the expressions for you so you've got them. This is one of Vaughn's tweets, and I guess they put it on Instagram as well. So let's see. Oh my God. Geez Louise. Are they making noise again? ¿Ves? Ya te he dado dos ejemplos. Okay, let's see. Jaime is taking a stab at it, and Jaime says, I see your point, but I don't agree with you. Wow, Jaime, that is really, really good. In fact, I think Jaime deserves a totally native. I see your point. Bueno, ellos te ponen I understand aquí en el de Vaughan, pero I see your point. Bueno, ellos ponen I see como I understand, perdona, pero me encanta el I see your point, but I don't agree with you. Great job, Jaime. Excellent, excellent job. Let's see, who else is taking a stab at it? There's Cristina. Cristina says, oh my God. She says, holy cow. There's another one. Yeah. Oh my God. Holy cow. Geez Louise. Oh, Italian Americans say Madonna mia. Madonna mia. Madonna. There's no, you can say fuck. Shit. Oh, Jesus Christ. Obviously, the more offensive you are, the more offensive you are, right? So holy cow. That's a great one. It's not offensive at all. Let's see. Fran Javier says, I see what you mean. Great, very native way of expressing it, but I'm sorry to disagree. Cuidado, porque disagree con I latina, right? Disagree. Okay, let's see. Carlos says, morning, Alberto. Great to see you still in shape. Really? Am I in shape? I had no idea. Thanks for thinking I'm in shape. All right, so any more? Do we have any more? Okay, so I didn't hear you. Come again. Come again? Right? Come again? There you go. Come again. I love that one. My grandma used to always say that because a lot of people make mistakes. Could you repeat that? Porque muchos dicen, could you repeat me? Pero eso es incorrecto, lo sabemos. It's, could you repeat that? Right? So, I didn't hear you. Come again. Come again. O puedes decir, huh? Another one. It's so difficult. It's no picnic. No es pan comido. No es fácil. It's no picnic. Y no se dice it's not a picnic, sino it's no picnic, right? It's no picnic. Great one, and it's very, very native, right? It's not a breeze. It's not a piece of cake. También decimos cuando algo es muy fácil. Come on, man, it's not rocket science. So, estas expresiones que usamos ya cuando las sabes se emplean en estas situaciones muy comunes. Hurry up, date prisa. Step on it, esa la decimos aquí en el programa mucho. Písalo fuerte. Shake a leg, ahí tienes otra. Shake a leg. Let's get moving. Hurry up, right? I understand, esa muchos lo vimos. We said, I see what you mean. I see your point. Great job. Good luck. Knock 'em dead. ¿Conocíais esa? Knock 'em dead. One we use with artists, with actors and things like that. That one is break a leg. So don't get confused with shake a leg, because if you tell somebody shake a leg, you're telling them hurry up. No es hurry. Dilo conmigo, por favor, en voz alta. Hurry up, shake a leg. But if you tell them break a leg, it's mucha mierda, as you guys say. Let's see. Good luck. I'm busy. I'm swamped. Esto es como ciénaga, como like a muddy area. So, oh man, I am swamped. These are really, really good idiomatic expressions to know. And another one, which somebody just gave us over here, Laura says, hello, Laura, good morning. She says, I thought you were coming at 9, not at 8. My bad. Yeah, my bad lo usamos muchísimo. My bad es mea culpa. Lo siento, my bad. I'm sorry. I made the mistake here. All right, Paco says, good morning in the hood, en el barrio. I love it. Good morning. It seems like you're ready for the hip-hop episode of FYI. Remember, guys, FYI, my self-produced podcast, comes out every Friday. This coming Friday, we have an episode on hip-hop, and I rap in the intro. I wrote a little rap. Yeah, you know me. I get into it. Me meto en el papel. So Paco says, good morning in the hood. I catch your drift. Wow, that's another one. I think Paco deserves a... I catch your drift. I mean, if I hear a student say that to me, I'm going to be like, hats off to you. So what I think the main lesson I want to look at here is we should stray away from. To stray es desviarnos, pero to stray away from es alejarnos de, evitar. We should stray away from using very, because there's always another way to say it. I'm hungry. I'm very hungry. I'm starving, right? I'm famished. Obviously there are many, many ways to say these things. Let's see. Born to Iron Man says, holy guacamole. I love that one. It reminds me of Batman and Robin. Holy guacamole, Batman. He says, how many buddies are in? Well, you know what? I knew it was going to take a few more days to get everybody on board because we were on Instagram before the summer. But spread the word to your classmates. Tell them that we are on YouTube, and it's a lot more interactive, in my opinion. I'd love to hear you guys. I'd love to hear your opinion on that because it seems like, we can read your comments over here. I can show them on the screen. And again, I'm learning the ropes. Yo estoy aprendiendo cómo van las cosas. I'm still, there's a learning curve. And I love it. Born to Iron Man. Oh, ya sé dónde aprendiste esa. Let's get the show on the road. Que es vamos a ponernos en marcha. Let's get the show on the road. But we're not going to do that without Vero. There she is. And Vero says, good morning, beautiful people. Well, good morning to you, Vero, and to the rest of you guys. It is such a pleasure to have you guys on board with us, and we have so much to do on today's show. We're going to discover English in movies, in music. We've got so many more challenges up ahead, and most of all, we are going to have tons of fun. Lo vamos a pasar en grande. I think, is that how you say that? I know another way to say it. Lo vamos a pasar bomba. So, folks, we'll be right back. We've just got to go to a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back in just a moment. So, stick around. Hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name. Exclusively on Vaughn Radio. All right. Welcome back to part 2 of your 4-part English show, the show with no name. Guys, welcome back. It's a pleasure to have you join us here in the second part, and we have so much to do on today's show. So let's kick off with a section where we listen to a famous person speaking, and you guys have to tell me what's being said. It's called Say What? Say what? What? All right, amigos. It's the Say What soundbite only on the show with no name. And this is where we hear a famous person, as I said, usually a very famous person speaking. And I want you guys to do a couple things in this section. Firstly, I want you to pay close attention. So I want you to listen really carefully. As we say in English, and our teachers always said, what did they say? I want your undivided attention. So give this piece your undivided attention. Why? Well, because you're going to have 4 chances to write down word for word what you hear. Okay? And I don't think it's too hard. Some days it's harder than others. But after these first 2 listens, it's also another amazing challenge that you should take advantage of. You should make the most of, and that is learning how to summarize what you heard. Okay? Resumir lo que has oído. Obviously in English. Use your best English. Use punctuation. This is English class. If you're not going to do it now, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? All right, so here we go, my amigos. This is the Say What soundbite for the first time. Please write down what you hear.
And so many like trips to the hospital and back and forth. There was so much going on at the same time. So it was a real relief. Like that 8-month break happened right when he needed to happen.
All right, there you go, folks. That's the first listen of today's Say What soundbite. I don't think it's too easy. You can't say that it's no picnic today, como vimos antes. Today, but it's interesting, we don't say it's a picnic. Si algo es fácil, we don't say it's a picnic. Solo lo usamos en la negación. It's no picnic. No es nada fácil. It's no picnic. Otra vez, no es it's not a picnic. Es frase hecha. It's no picnic. So this one, para usarlo ahora el otro extremo, it's a breeze. Es fácil. En vez de decir no es difícil. It's a breeze. It's a piece of cake. It's a walk in the park. IMO, in my opinion. And speaking of sharing opinions, thank you, Carlos. He says YouTube is way better and less distractions. Well, sería fewer distractions because son contables. Remember, less es incontables and fewer es contables. Okay, but thank you. Thank you so much for the feedback. I've been getting a lot of really positive feedback about what we're doing here on YouTube. It's more visual, and the comments don't get lost. On Instagram, when we started the second part or the third part, we would lose your comments. And here, well, they're there, right there waiting for us when I take the quick commercial breaks. All right, so we're going to listen to that again, and I can't wait to hear what you guys heard in your own words. This is the Say What soundbite for the second time.
And so many like trips to the hospital and back and forth. There was so much going on at the same time. So it was a real relief. Like that 8-month break happened right when he needed to happen.
There you go, my amigos. That is your Say What soundbite for the second time. You're going to hear it another 2 times in the third and the fourth part of the show, respectively. So, what did you hear? What kind of accent did you hear? What if you had to sum up what this guy's talking about in your own words, how would you sum it up? Now, you can say summarize, but I think sum up, it just rolls off your tongue, right? You can summarize it. Sum it up, okay? But in your own words and use your best English. The biggest thing I hear from my students is I don't get a chance to practice my English and use it. And well, I know personally on the show, I give you all a chance to use your English. And it's up to you if you say it aloud. But at least if you write it, that's a good first step. We're working on expressing ourselves in English, and that's what it's all about. And speaking of, we've got Lemuda kicking things off over here. Let's see what Lemuda had to say. She says, I heard a man speaking. It seems like an interview, and he is answering a question about an 8-month break in his career due to some medical issue. I couldn't have put it better myself. En serio. I couldn't have put it better myself. Excellent job, Lemura. It sounds great, and I think you're spot on with your observations. Let's see. Leonardo says, I think a man is talking about going to a hospital several times. Absolutely. Y vamos, ya que os tengo aquí, let's pronounce the word hospital. Ha. It's not hospital. Primero la H se pronuncia ha. Ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Hospital. Hospital. Say it with me because you don't know how many times I've heard hospital, hospital, like a lot of different variations, and none of them is hospital. Okay, so this is why I want you to say stuff aloud too, because you can work on your listening here, but you can also work on your pronunciation. That's up to you. So I'll go back to the beginning. I think a man is talking about going to a hospital several times while he was very busy. I guess he suffered from an illness, una enfermedad, good word, but it was a relief to have a month off for him. Oh, interesting. Some of you heard, Lemura, not some of you, Lemura heard 8 months off, and Leonardo heard 1 month off. Well, I think I'd rather work for Lemura. Preferiría trabajar para Lemura if she's given us 8 months off instead of 1 month off. All right. Anybody else want to share their opinion on what they heard? I'll say something if you want. I can always add something into the mix here. I think this person is young, right? Something tells me the person is young. They've got the person sounds pooped. ¿Te acuerdas la palabra que vimos antes? Cansadísimo, exhausted, worn out. But they sound young. I say they because I didn't say if it was a guy or a gal. So when you don't specify, obviously I think it's a guy. So I can say he because I just told you I think it's a guy. But if we're still trying to ascertain who it is, well, then in that case, say, I think they said something about this, right? If you're not sure. That's how that works. All right, so let's see some more comments over here. Cristina says, I heard a man whose accent I can't place. He's talking about how many trips he had to do to the hospital and how overwhelming it was. Solo te falta el it ahí, Chris Valrol. Wow, guys, you're really expressing yourselves very well. The good thing is, I feel like a lot of people are going to figure it out today. I feel like if you listen to it 1-2 more times, you're definitely going to be able to write it all down. Why? The person speaks clearly. As I said, they're speaking as if they were a little bit tired, a little bit worn out, possibly a little bit pooped, as we says. No aprendas inglés conmigo, eh? As we says. Oh my Jesus. As we say. Oh my God. Well, also when you're trying to do 20 things, your brain doesn't work in any language. Let's see. Nihad says, an American citizen speaking about his experiences when it comes to his work trips. And he comes back mentioning it is very hard to have a break in these circumstances. All right, interesting. Yeah, I agree with that there. The guy's saying, which means he must be very famous, right? The fact that he's saying it's hard for me to take a break. You nailed it, Nihad. That's a very important thing there that this person is saying. This person's saying, I can't really take breaks, so it felt really good and the timing was right. So that was a great observation. Let's see, Paco. Paco says, I gather. Ooh, Paco. Wow, you sound like a native speaker there. I gather, yo entendí, yo pillé, yo capté. I gather that I heard a man was tripped to the hospital. Okay, or you can say, tripped to the hospital, I've never heard. Maybe it's British. But taken to the hospital or rushed. ¿Te acuerdas que vimos la palabra to be in a rush, to be in a hurry antes? Pues they rush somebody to the hospital. That's how we would say it where I come from. And he was relieved that he was nursed back to health. And great words there. Let's see, the word relief versus relieve. El verbo es relieve. Aliviar, I think you say. Relieve. And relief is the noun. Let's look at some examples. This cream will relieve your joint pain. Esta crema te aliviará, excuse my Spanish, tus dolores de articulaciones, right? And what a relief. ¿Ves la diferencia? Verbo relieve y el otro es relief. It's definitely worth looking at. And you used another great expression there, and you know what? I'll give you a totally native. Paco said to nurse somebody back to health. Y esto es cuidar a alguien, ¿no? Cuidar de ellos, pero hasta que se curen. To nurse somebody back to health. Wow, guys, really great job. In fact, a nice round of applause for everybody who participated in that section. Seriously, you guys did a wonderful job. And let's see how you do in today's Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
All right, guys, it is our Spelling Bee. Oh, get away. Ow! Ow! I just got stung. Me acaba de picar. I just got stung by the Spelling Bee. Careful with that Spelling Bee. All right, well, folks, as always, this is where I give you a list of words, a sequence of words that all are linked in some way. Están conectadas de alguna manera. And what I want you to do is tell me what the 6 words are and what the connection is between them. Okay? Are you ready? Or I should say among them, because between es cuando hay dos, among es cuando hay más. Ambos son entre, pero, my house is between 2 houses. Eso es que hay 2 puntos de referencia. But my house is among many houses, es que hay muchas más puntos de referencia. Okay? Among más de 2, between con 2. If, between. Sí, entre. I know that joke. I think it's a brilliant one. I know it's old. It's an old school joke, but I've got to say I love it either way. Okay, so here we go with today's Spelling Bee. I'm going to give you this list twice. The first time I'm going to fly right through it. And the second time, I'll be nice. Seré majo, me portaré bien. Here we go, guys. This is round 1 for today's Spelling Bee Superstars. The first word is Pledge. The second word is Allegiance. The next one is Flag. The next one is Republic. The next one is Indivisibly. The next one is Liberty. And you've got a 7th one, a bonus one, Justice. Whew. I honestly didn't stop to take a breath. You can hear it. Okay, so let me take a breath now. Déjame respirar. Hey, I can take a magic breath if you want. See? I'm just playing with my sound effects over here. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. I'm doing as much as I can over here to make the show fun, and I'm producing it in real time, which is, whoa. Sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming, especially when technology doesn't want to cooperate with me. But ladies and gentlemen, there is somebody here with us who wants to cooperate, who wants to participate, and he nailed it. The first person to get today's Spelling Bee, please give it up for Born to Iron Man. Excellent job. Excellent job. Born to Iron Man. All right. Looks like Baco got it. Lemura as wow. Unbelievable job, folks. All right. Well, here's round 2. If you didn't get it, don't worry. I don't think I would have gotten it either. Okay? I'm being honest with you. Okay. The first word is, this is at a human speed for the normal people like me. PleDGE. The second word is ALLEGIANCE. The next word is FLAG. The next one is REPUBLIC. The next word is INDIVISIBLE. Esa es la más difícil, creo, ¿eh? The next one, LIBERTY. And the last word is JUSTICE. Okay, those are your 7 spelling bee words today. As I said, the first person to get them was Born to Iron Man, followed by Lemura and Paco. So great job. Well, if you guys didn't know, these are words that come from the Pledge Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance. What is the Pledge of Allegiance? This is the thing that we say in school every morning. I used to know it by, let me see if I know it by heart. No lo voy a mirar, lo tengo apuntado. I pledge allegiance. It's been a long time, guys, since I've been in school, in a classroom. Well, in the traditional sense. And in the United States, because you don't do that. But at the beginning of our classes, when I was a kid at least, you would start the day standing up at your desk, tu pupitre, I think you say, at your desk, and you would recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands. Oh, see, I forgot there. See, it's been a long time. I knew it by heart. In fact, we used to just repeat it in kind of a like robotic kind of way, kind of like in church when you sometimes just repeat something and you forget, you don't even realize what you're saying because now it's just become second nature. And that's what happened. So I pledge allegiance to the flag. So to pledge is prometer, and allegiance, let's take a look at this word. I'm trying to think of the word. A veces me vienen las palabras en español y otras veces no. Allegiance, lealtad. Okay, so I pledge, prometo, I pledge allegiance to the flag, la bandera, of the United States of America, and to the republic. ¿Ves? Todas estas palabras estaban en el spelling bee. Pledge, allegiance, flag, republic. Cuidado con la pronunciación, no es republic, sino republic, right? What else? For which it stands. Y fíjate, yo toda mi vida pensaba que era for which it, like, I don't know what it is, but for which it stands. As I said, you just repeated it, for which it stands. One nation under God. Now, I've got to tell you something. This has come under some scrutiny. This has come under some controversy because people are saying, well, I don't worship God. I'm agnostic, or I worship Mohammed, or whatever, you know. So that's where, because in the United States, we're supposed to have separation of church and state. That's the way it works. So a lot of people have said, well, you know, what's that nation under God thing? So I personally think the whole thing is brainwashing, from the Pledge of Allegiance to, you know, putting God in there. It's all trying to brainwash people to, you know, for whatever, just to follow orders, acatar las reglas. So one nation under God, indivisible, que no se puede dividir, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And all of you Metallica fans out there will be familiar with And Justice for All, which is an album. And Justice for All is a Metallica album. Really good Metallica album. Let's see. Lemura says, are these words related to the Constitution? No. I mean, some of them are in the Constitution. Liberty, life, liberty, justice, the pursuit of happiness, right? But really, these words were all plucked como sacar una pluma, a feather. They were plucked right out of the Pledge of Allegiance. And as you see, at one time in my life, I could repeat it. I knew it by heart. And now I'm getting old and I totally forgot it. But we used to recite it every day. Every day. I remember when we went into school, it was, they would come on the PA system. The PA system is the public address system. So that's the principal or the vice principal would come on. Remember, principal is director. And they would come on and say, well, today, remember the swim team, blah, blah, blah. Also, remember, your lockers have to be clean, blah, blah. Whatever, right? So there you go, my amigos. Learning, having fun, and also challenging you as well. And also learning a little bit about American culture. All right, well, we've got to move on because we have so much to do. It's time for another section, a section we call Homophones.
Homophones, homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones.
That's right, amigos. That's right. It's homophones only on the show with no name. And speaking of homophones, we've got to give our amigo born to Iron Man a totally native. Well, why? He just found a set of homophones with the words I was just talking about. Principal versus principal. So principal, principle, escrito principle, es como main. The principal idea, the main idea. Y el que tiene, esto es como te acuerdas, me acuerdo que nos lo dijeron así. Remember, the principal is your pal. El que es el director del cole es tu amigo, principal, el que acaba con P-A-L. Aha! Look at that. So great job, and we'll give him a totally native. Nice job. And that wasn't even the homophone that I had ready for you. I've got another one lined up. Remember, if something is lined up, está por venir, viene ahora. And let's take a look at these two words. As always, sometimes you'll recognize the word, sometimes you won't. Either way, we go deeper after. So when we explore the words, when we give you the answer, after we'll look at other meanings, nuances, any little quirks. Quirks son cosas raras acerca de esa palabra o esta expresión. Expresiones, collocations. So no solo te vamos a dar estas dos palabras, pero las vamos a explorar un poco. Y muy importante, extremely important in this section, you must pronounce the words aloud. Okay? So when I pronounce them, which will be when we come back from our next break, you have to pronounce these words with me. Why? Well, this is like one of those parts where we're looking at words that people mispronounce. I told you the other day, these words are hand-picked, escogidos a mano. They're hand-picked because they're words that I've heard students mispronounce, like yesterday, allowed. I've heard people say allow it. Not you guys, not my students, but I've heard it before. All right, so my amigos, the first word we're going to look at is the word vendedor. Okay, vendedor o vendedora, comercial, I think you could say as well. And the second word is sótano o bodega. Okay, so it's vendedor is our first word. The second word is sótano o bodega. And folks, we'll take a look at that when we come back. Right now, we have to go to our second commercial break. I can't believe it. We're halfway through the show. We have so much to do in the second half. I sure hope you'll join us. But right now, we're going to a quick commercial break. So stick around. Hello, 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 amigos. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. I can't believe it. We're in the second half of today's show. The first hour just flew by. Don't forget you can join us on YouTube in our live stream where you can participate in real time. Awesome. All right, amigos. Come on in, come on in. We're here for the second part of the show. The second half, not the second part. So let me clear it up. There are 4 parts, 2 halves. However you want to slice it or dice it. Lo pongas como lo pongas. All right, well, let's take a look. We have so much to do. Before we get back into our homophone section, what I need to do is I need to play the Say What soundbite for you for the 3rd time. So hopefully somebody will be able to figure out this Say What soundbite. You're going to hear it now and then one more time in the 4th and final part. Please write down what you hear.
And so many like trips to the hospital and back and forth. There was so much going on at the same time. So it was a real relief. Like that 8-month break happened right when it needed to happen.
All right, there you go, folks. There you go. Definitely sounds like somebody who is a bit exhausted. All right, well, we've got a lot to do. We need to look at our homophones. I gave them to you before. If you're just joining us now, well, the first word was vendedor, right? And the second word was sótano, or bodega, depending on the context. So let's see what you guys came up with. Let's see, the first person to participate is our friend Born to Iron Man, and let's see what he came up with. Born to Iron Man gave us the first word as seller, S-E-L-L-E-R. I guess that makes sense, right? Seller, because somebody who sells something is a seller, right? Makes sense. We also say, and I think we looked at this maybe on Monday, a salesperson, a salesman, a saleswoman, a sales rep. El de person y rep, those are unisex. But a seller is another one as well. So seller, S-E-L-L-E-R. And let's see, no, Born to Iron Man, that second word is misspelled, so I'm sorry, buddy. Oh, man, I wanted to give it to you. You know I wanted to give it to you. Do you like the sound effects? All right, let's see who's next. Paco. And Paco, I've got to say, Paco has been on fire lately. He is unstoppable. And he says the homophone section are... the homophone section are, or you can say is, the words are, or the section is. Just be careful there. The first word, same, seller, as we said before. And the second word he gave us is spelled C-E-L-L, que es como célula, like we have cells on our body. So look, there's another homophone. He sells skin cells. Él vende células de piel. That's kind of weird, though, isn't it? Okay. So that's another homophone. The first parts are homophones. So my question is then, is the ER from seller, S-E-L-L-E-R, pronounced the same as the AR in C-E-L-L-A-R? Well, let's see. The seller lives in a cellar. The seller lives in a cellar. Do they sound the same to you? Absolutely. Great job, Paco. Nice job, Paco. I see a few other people got it as well. There's Lemura. There's Vedo as well. Yeah, just be careful, guys. That second word is spelt with an A-R, even though it clearly sounds like an E-R. So a cellar, he's down in the cellar. Si tú me dices eso, yo pensaría que está en el sótano. Ahora, si tiene una bodega, I would say that he's in the wine cellar. Si queremos especificar, we can do that. We can say a wine cellar. Pero si no lo ves escrito, it's an interesting one because if I tell you she's a wine cellar, puedo decir ella es una bodega de vinos o ella es una vendedora de vinos. She's a wine seller who works in the cellar. Now, another way to say cellar, yo diría esto más para el de casa, al menos en mi zona, basement, sótano. So a lot of times when we talk about es aceptable cellar también, pero if you want to avoid confusion of any kind, a cellar, a wine cellar, and a basement is what we say. Also, it's interesting because if you say the word bodega in English, at least in the New York area, a bodega is like a Latin kind of alimentación. You know, it's like a deli, but it's got a lot of Latin products, productos de Latinoamérica. So you have different kinds of products, different sauces and things like that. I remember I used to go to the bodega and I used to buy Presidente. Presidente is a beer from the Dominican Republic. So confusing words there. We took the word bodega and we changed it. Bodega is a little shop usually run by somebody who speaks Spanish, and there's never a wine cellar there. They sell wines. This can get really confusing. So cellar or basement, sótano. Okay, just remember es con A-R. A wine cellar, una bodega, right? A wine cellar. And a seller, como salesperson, se puede decir, he's a lo que sea seller. So he's a TV seller. Now, that sounds weird to me, that one, for some reason, though. You know, I would say he's a TV salesperson or a TV salesman. But you can say it. It's correct. He's a TV seller. He sells TVs, okay? And remember that other one we got out there as well. That word sell, que es vender, también se pronuncia igual que C-E-L-L. We don't pronounce it cel. All right, and ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have a winner here in our homophones section. No, well, we already had a winner, but now we have a winner in our Say What soundbite, and it's after the third listen. So please give it up for your classmate, Laura. Fantastic job, Laura. We'll take a look at that in a little bit, but I think now we're going to go to one of my favorite places. That's the movies. Name that movie. That's right, amigos. It's Name That Movie, only on the show with no name. And this is the part where we take a look at a movie, and hopefully you've seen that movie. But even if you haven't seen the movie, you're still going to learn some English with us while we talk about this movie. So, can I give you... No, you know what? I'm not going to give you the trailer until afterwards because it's too easy. What I'll do is I'll give you guys the scene first, and then we'll take a look at the trailer. Okay, we'll go out of order a little bit. We'll go out of order as no seguimos el orden normal, because sometimes I start with the trailer, but technically a trailer should trail. ¿Sabéis eso, no? No se lo expliqué, seguro que muchas veces. They're called trailers because they used to trail a movie. Antes iban después de la película. And then they smartened up. Se pusieron más listos and said, pero la gente si no se queda, no van a saber. So now they put the things that should trail the movie, go after the movie, go at the beginning. So instead of starting with our trailer, let's start with this scene. All right? There's a gem dealer. And what is a gem? This is an interesting word. Gem. G-E-M. Gema. O sea, añade una A y lo tienes, gema o joya. A gem dealer. Y mira, estábamos hablando de seller. Another way of saying uno que vende cosas is a dealer. A car dealer es un concesionario. A drug dealer es un camello. Yeah, I'm serious. So, a gem dealer, number one, says, as in every stone of this size, there is a flaw. Okay, como cada piedra o cada roca, sometimes we talk about them as stones because that's what they are, right? So, as in every stone of this size, de este tamaño, there is a flaw. Okay, so a flaw es una imperfección. A lot of times we say, your performance was flawless. The diamond was flawless. Buenísima palabra, digno de saberla. So, as in every stone of this size, there is a flaw. And Sultan answers, a flaw? And the gem dealer, but this is gem dealer number two here, says, the slightest flaw, Your Excellency. That's what I call my daughter. Your Excellency, Your Majesty. Te lo juro. And slightest es menor, the slightest es menor posible, mínimo posible, menos, right? So the slightest flaw, el más mínimo, the slightest, great word to know as well, the slightest flaw, Your Excellency. And gem dealer number one, the person who spoke at the beginning, says, if you look deep into the stone, okay? If you look deep into the stone, you will perceive the tiniest discoloration. Okay? Discoloration, que ha cambiado el color. It resembles an animal. And this is a good word to know, to resemble. It resembles, se parece. So, donde pones it looks like, puedes poner resemble, sin el like, right? So, he resembles a tiger, right? He looks like a tiger. Quizá es más fácil, to resemble. Es una S que suena como una Z un poco, right? It resembles an animal. Parece un animal. And Sultan says, an animal? Y vamos a pronunciar, no es animal, it's animal. Animal. Si conocéis la canción de Pearl Jam, I'd rather be with an animal. Si no lo aprendes después de esa canción, you'll never know it. Because he says it a lot of times and he pronounces it very clearly. It's like family. ¿Cuántas veces he oído family? Es dos sílabas para nosotros. Family. There are a lot of, di esta frase y seguro que todos tenéis razón. There are a lot of animals in my family. Hey, I'm just trying to help you pronounce some words that tend to be tricky. And he says, it resembles an animal. Parece un animal. And he says, an animal? And the gem dealer says, gem dealer number one says, a little panther. Una pequeña pantera. And Sultan says, yes, sí, a pink panther. Come here, Dala. Ven aquí. Come here. A gift to your father. Un regalo. Okay? Para tu padre. So vamos, muy importante, a gift to your father or a gift from your father es muy diferente. A gift to your father se lo das. A gift from your father te lo ha dado. So a gift to your father from his grateful people. Okay? So le han dado un regalo, his excellency here, the sultan. I don't know if he's the sultan of swing. Dun, dun. So, a gift to your father from his grateful. Cuidado con esta palabra. He visto mucha gente poner grateful con dos L's. Recuerda esto, cuando es una terminación, no es full lleno, es full con una L. Okay? So, wonderful. Ahora no se me ocurren ningunos más, claro. Wonderful. What was the one we said before? Resentful. Yo qué sé. Pero el full ese lleva una L cuando es terminación en adjetivos. So a pink panther, and he goes, a gift to your father from his grateful people. Grateful, agradecidos. Someday, algún día. Someday it will be yours. Será tuyo. The most fabulous diamond in all the world. en todo el mundo. Diamond, otra, no es diamond, it's diamond. Es como si la A no estuviera. Diamond. Diamond. Acuérdate, en inglés ponemos letras extras solo para confundir a los que están aprendiendo inglés. That's what we do. So the most fabulous diamond in all the world. Come closer. Acércate. And folks, we've got a winner. I said it already, but he got it before I said it. Please give it up for Carlos. The Pink Panther. Oh, yeah. The Pink Panther. He says, I got carried away. Se me fue la pinza. Yes, it's the Pink Panther. Cristina got it as well. And Born to Iron Man. There's another song. There are a lot of songs called Animal. There's another one by Biffy Clyro as well. So, all right. Well, guys, excellent job. It's the Pink Panther, the movie that came out in 1963. My daughter loves the cartoon. Well, who am I kidding? ¿A quién voy a engañar? My daughter and I both love the freaking cartoon, the Pink Panther. All right, I'll show you how you all love it, even if you don't know you love it. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Did you just do doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo? You had to. If not, you're not alive inside. It's like when I go, You had to. I know you did it. I know you can't help it. No se puede evitar. Same thing. So you go, doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. All right, well, this is the movie The Pink Panther. It came out in the year 1963. So, whoa, like 15 years before I was born. It's directed by, remember we say not directed por, dirigido por is not for, sino by. Directed by Blake Edwards, and it stars David Niven, Peter Sellers. Mira, seller, we know that word. Bueno, sabemos que ese sonido tiene varias palabras. Seller, vendedor, seller, sótano. También una bodega de vino. So Peter Sellers, Robert Wagner, wonderful cast over here. And let's take a look at the trailer while we're at it. So the bumbling inspector. And bumbling, I like this word. Vamos a ver cómo lo dicen en español. It's a really good word to know. This has got some really great vocabulary in it, guys. Bumbling, inepto. It's incompetent, clumsy. He's bumbling. Oh, come on, man. You're bumbling around, right? So bumble. So bumbling is the adjective. I'll give you the example they have here on word reference. They say the character is a bumbling detective. Oh, wow. Same example. I guess it's used with detectives a lot. The character is a bumbling detective who eventually catches the killer by accident. Well, there you go. It's used when you want to talk about a detective who's clumsy, who's absent-minded. That is definitely this detective. Well, inspector in this case, detective. But otra forma de decir a detective is a PI, a private investigator. Another one, I'll tell you another one there, a Dick. No es tan común, es un poco más anticuado, pero ¿te suena Dick Tracy? Yeah, see, I knew you would get it. So the bumbling Inspector Clouseau travels to Rome. Va a la Roma. He travels to Rome to catch, pillar, a notorious jewel thief. I want you to say this word with me too, because it's not jewel, it's jewel. Jewel. Es una sílaba, realmente. No es jewel. 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 A jewel thief known as the Phantom. El Fantasma. Before he conducts his most daring heist yet. Okay, and to conduct es llevar a cabo, organizar, ¿no? To conduct. A ver cómo lo ponen aquí in word reference. Guys, you should have word reference saved, conduct, conducir, to carry out, llevar a cabo, hacer, en este caso, right? Before he conducts his most daring, atrevido, his most daring heist yet. And the word heist is like it's when you rob a lot of money. It's a very big, elaborate heist, robbery, atraco, asalto, robo, golpe, heist. It's a weird word. Heist. Pronúncialo conmigo, heist. Lo verás mucho en las películas. Heist. Okay? So let me go back. Known as the Phantom, before he conducts his most daring heist yet. A princess's priceless diamond, say that 5 times fast. A princess's priceless diamond with one slight imperfection, known as the Pink Panther. And I always used to get confused too, because at first I didn't get what the movie had to do with the cartoon, but then I saw how it all tied in. But this is a classic movie, and I recommend you do that. I know I've said that to you many times, but I highly recommend that you guys watch the classics. Even if it's, maybe you're thinking, okay, the old school Hollywood movies in the 60s, some people love them, some people don't. But remember, the movies from the 1990s, the late 90s, Toy Story, those are classics now. Guys, that was over 22 years ago, the change of the millennium. I know, you just felt really old. Well, I'm just telling you. So watch all those movies. And as my daughter now, I didn't even tell you this. Now we watch the Mr. Bean cartoon. We watch SpongeBob, different things, Curious George. And she asks me, Papi, put it in English. Put it in English. And I'm like, are you serious? She's telling me to put it in English. Oh, and Fran Javier, of course, he says, I love it. Henry Mancini. Yeah, the Pink Panther is awesome. One of my favorite cartoons, to be honest. But I've got to tell you something. Man, the music, without the music, it wouldn't be the same. I say the same for Star Wars with John Williams, Jaws. I think most of you will even agree with me. So what would the Pink Panther be without Henry Mancini's music? Oh, great. Vero reminds us that La Casa de Papel, which is an amazing series, my friend Jovic is in it. He's the guy who's really good with the safes, las cajas fuertes. La Casa de Papel in English is called Money Heist. See, we're not just learning from movies, we're also learning from series as well. But we've got some more challenges before we go to our final commercial break. It's time for today's Double Trouble. Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble. That's right, amigos. That's right. It's our Double Trouble section. And here's where I'm going to give you a translation, and you have to use the same word twice. And you know what? My daughter knows this one. Why? Well, because I teach her new stuff every day, but also because this is something you do when you have a little kid, right? You give each other raspberries. What? ¿Os dais frambuesas? No, I mean pedorretas. Like when you do that on the baby skin. They love that. And my daughter gives me raspberries. So hay muchas cosas que hacemos con los niños, and she's learning all that. De hecho, this morning, she was lying in her room on the bed, and she goes, Papi! And I was like, what's up, honey? She goes, let's wrestle. Vamos a hacer pressing catch. I'm like, let me have my coffee first, please. Oh, man. I'm telling you. Okay, so my daughter knows this one. Bueno, hacer cosquillas, This is the word. So I'm already giving you guys a little clue as to today's Double Trouble. But let me just give it to you right now, because we have to go to our final commercial break in just a moment. So you have to use the rules. You have to use the same word twice in this translation. And if you don't put a period, and the person who went right after you, even if you were first, the person who went right after you put a period, yours is wrong. So remember, I want you to dot your I's and cross your T's. Of course, this is English class. If you don't finish your sentences, if you don't use punctuation, if you make careless mistakes here, what are you waiting for? When you're out there, you're going to do the same thing in the real world, as it's called, right? The real world. Okay, so no estaba realmente encantada cuando empezaste a hacerle cosquillas. Okay, no estaba realmente encantada o muy emocionada o contenta cuando empezaste a hacerle cosquillas. That is today's double trouble. Hopefully you guys will be able to figure it out. We'll take a look at that though after our commercial break. I can't believe it. We have to go to our fourth and final commercial break. I hope you guys are having a good time. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. Hope you're learning some English. And I hope you'll join us after this break. We'll be right back, amigos. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the fourth and final part of today's show with no name. Oh, yeah. Don't forget, you got tons of great programs here on Vaughn Radio all day long. Just download our free app That's right, the Vaughn Radio app. Download it now before you forget or before you run out of space on your phone. You can catch all your favorite shows. Also, you can listen to us via podcast. We're on Spotify, iVox, and Apple Podcasts. Wherever you want to be, we're there. All the Vaughn Radio shows and my weekly podcast. If you didn't catch last week's episode, it was on universities, and it was a very special episode because I took you guys to my university. All right, well, I shouldn't waste too much time. I should shake a leg. Remember, we looked at that expression before, to shake a leg. All right, I'm going to do it right now, and we're going to kick off with our Say What soundbite, which we have to listen to now. Whoa, this is the fourth and final listen. We already had a winner, which was Laura, if I'm not mistaken, and I think Fran got it as well later on, but the important thing is, try your best. You're not competing against the other students. You're competing against yourself yesterday. All right, so here it is, my amigos, the Say What soundbite for the fourth and final time.
And so many like trips to the hospital and back and forth. There was so much going on at the same time. So it was a real relief. Like that 8-month break happened right when it needed to happen.
All right, there you go, folks. That is the Say What soundbite. As I said, I don't think it's a tough one today. I think it's a breeze, a piece of cake, a walk in the park, eaten bread. No, we don't say eaten bread. No, you caught me. Pan comido, we don't say. But we do say a breeze, a piece of cake, a walk in the park. And these are just different ways of saying that something is easy. And something that I think was pretty easy today. Well, at first I didn't think it was easy, but then I started seeing all the comments come in, and let's see what we've got. Let me just remind you of today's double trouble, what it was. No estaba realmente encantada o contenta cuando empezaste a hacerle cosquillas. Okay, so let's see. Paco says, I wasn't really tickled when you started to tickle her. Okay, no estaba cuando empezaste. Okay, yo estaba pensando, ella no estaba, maybe I should have clarified that. Okay, I wasn't, a lo mejor está bien la traducción, digo la persona, but I just want to make sure. In my head, I was like, ella no está, tenía que haber puesto ella. Ella no estaba realmente encantada cuando empezaste a hacerle cosquillas. So, tú le has dicho, yo no estaba encantado, so I don't know. I'll tell you what. We're going to give it to you because I think it's the same translation in Spanish. I think you can do the same, ella o yo. La próxima vez voy a especificar because I think that's important. Okay? Let's see, Laura translated it the way I did. She wasn't really tickled when you started tickling her. So there you go, sure. So to tickle somebody es hacerle cosquillas. Don't tickle me. I'm ticklish. Okay, so esto es el adjetivo. I'm ticklish. Me río mucho cuando me hacen cosquillas. So she wasn't really tickled. To be tickled is to be happy, contenta, encantada, as we said before. So Laura says, and Paco, and a lot of people, by the way, great job. That applause was for all of you. She wasn't really tickled when you started tickling her. Excellent. And I added a little something extra to mine, porque a veces queremos darle énfasis. She wasn't really tickled pink when you started tickling her. Y esto lo decimos también para darle énfasis. So, oh man, yesterday when we went to the air show, I was tickled pink. Estaba en mi salsa. Estaba encantadísimo. Let's take a look at the word here on word reference, okay? So to tickle somebody, hacer cosquillas. To be ticklish means te ríes cuando te hacen cosquillas. A tickle es un cosquilleo. Cosquillas. Sustantivo. Oh, tengo algún cosquilleo en el pie. I've got a tickling sensation or a tickle in my foot. Okay? But also, It really tickles me. Me deleita, me agrada, me divierte, me emociona, right? This is another way of saying something tickles you. And if we say it tickles you pink, well, we're just adding some extra, adding a little extra emphasis to it. So, excellent job, my amigos. You all got that. Oh, and also, here's another one, ya que lo estoy mirando. To tickle the ivories. What does that mean? Well, ivory is marfil. To tickle the ivories is tocar el piano. Do you know anybody who tickles the ivories? Well, I'd love to watch them in concert because I love live music. I would be tickled pink. See? Playing with the language. And I'm extremely ticklish. So that's how you play with it. Are you ticklish? Do you tickle people? When was the last time you tickled somebody? Me? 2 hours ago. My daughter and I, well, we tickle each other. She's extremely ticklish. And when I play with her and she's laughing and having fun, I'm tickled, or I'm tickled pink. There's today's double trouble. We need to move on, though, to another section, a section where we learn English with a little humor. It's called You're Joking.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch! Ouch! You get it? Ouch! He walked into the bar. You're joking.
That's right, amigos. That's right. You're Joking is the section of the show where we take a look at a joke and we see if you guys get it. And if you get it, you can explain it to your fellow classmates. All right, here it is, today's joke. Why do Olympians make bad DJs? Okay? ¿Por qué son los atletas o de las Olimpiadas, Olympians? You can say Olympic athletes, but then I think it's a lot easier to just say Olympians. Okay? So why, tengo aquí what, por eso lo estoy leyendo mal. Vamos a corregirlo because I read what I see. Why do Olympians make bad DJs? Okay? ¿Por qué no son buenos DJs? So mira la construcción ahí. Why do Spanish speakers make good English students? ¿Por qué son buenos a tal? So that expression, that structure is good to know. Why do, y la pronunciación Olympians, y DJ o DJ? Okay, so que es disc jockey. Why do, now here's the joke, here's the punchline, here's everything. Are you ready? Okay, why do Olympians make bad DJs? Because they keep breaking records. Because they keep breaking records? No, porque los atletas de las Olimpiadas no hacen buenos DJs, no son buenos DJs? Because they keep breaking records. I thought it was funny. Does anybody get it? It's not a hard one. I think this one's not rocket science. It's not brain surgery. Estamos viendo muchas formas de decir que algo no es tan difícil hoy. Okay, you guys are telling me things are funny here, but remember, the way this section works is I don't just want you to tell me the joke is funny. It's not even my joke. I get them off the internet, I'll be honest. But I want you to explain it to your fellow students who also, who might not get it. I imagine all of you do because this one is easy. Let's see. David says records, albums, and time records. It was easy. Okay, but you're missing the verb there. ¿Ves? Por eso quiero frases completas. You're telling me half of the story there, David. It's a good start. Es un buen comienzo. But I want you to tell me what the whole breaking thing is as well, right? Okay. And Lemura's telling me break records in sports, break records in music. Okay, good. But what does that mean? All right. Break obviously means romper. So if you break records, don't break mine. I won't be too happy about that. Don't break my records. Okay? No rompas mis vinilos. I have a record collection, and if you break my records, I'll be pretty upset, okay? I don't want to sound like a broken record. No quiero sonar a disco rayado. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but if you break my records, you are in trouble. But if an Olympian or an athlete of any kind breaks a record, esto es batir un récord. So that's what I didn't want you to just tell me record or just tell me break. I wanted you to tell me both, right? So esta frase, break a record, puede significar dos cosas. Romper un vinilo y batir un récord. No? So that's as far as I know, that's how you would say that in Spanish. So why do Olympians make bad DJs? Because they keep breaking records. Oh, man. All right. Well, that joke wasn't worth celebrating. But I know some people who are celebrating a birthday today, so we've got a party to get to. Let's go to famous birthday trivia. That's right, amigos. That's right. It's famous birthdays only on the show with no name. And I'm going to tell you 3 people who are celebrating a birthday, and I want you to tell me who these people are. Now, if you're participating with us on, iba a decir Instagram, hey, old habits die hard, como es la expresión. If you're participating with us on YouTube, ves, esto es programarte hasta que digas YouTube cada vez. And learning English is like that. Dices people are hasta que ya no dices people is más. All right, so I want you to give me all 3 people who are celebrating a birthday in a full sentence. You can say it's blah, blah, blah's birthday or blah, blah, blah are celebrating a birthday. But I want all 3 in one comment. Okay, so the first person was born in the year 1925. An English actor and comedian. He passed away, falleció, in 1980. And it's interesting because his real name is a little bit different from his stage name, su nombre artístico. The last name is the same. So he didn't change his last name, but he did change his first and middle name to just use one name. Now, where would you know this guy? Well, he got really popular on something called The Goon Show. And this was something on BBC Radio. I've never seen this. As I said, this was before my time. But a goon can mean 2 things. It can be un matón, a goon. And you'll know from the context, oh, the mafia boss is sending his goons to your house. Oh, shit. But if you say, you're a goon, eres un imbécil, un bobo, right? An idiot. A goon. Ahora, yo creo como esto era comedia, estaba hablando de los idiotas, The Goon Show. And, well, he got involved with comedy and stuff like that. But his breakthrough role, the role that introduced him to a worldwide audience, remember the word worldwide is global. You can say global, but another way to say it is worldwide. And that was the Pink Panther series where he played Chief Inspector Clouseau. The bumbling, we know the word now, torpe, que no se entera. The bumbling Chief Inspector Clouseau on the Pink Panther series. And we looked at an expression with the word pink as well. Oh, here, I'll give you both of them in context. My daughter and I are tickled pink when we watch the Pink Panther. Estamos encantadísimos. And this guy, he's done so much, though, throughout his career. He was in Stanley Kubrick's Lolita. He was also in Dr. Strangelove in the year 1964. He was in What's New, Pussycat? What's New, Pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's New, Pussycat? Which is a great song by Tom Jones as well. Casino Royale, not the new one, the old school one in 1967. The Party in 1968. And he was nominated for an Academy Award 3 times for Best Actor. And for the Best Actor one was for Dr. Strangelove. And, he's been in, again, this guy is in the pantheon of amazing actors. And he had a lot of demons. He had depression, a lot of insecurity, like everybody, I think. I think everybody, doesn't matter what level you're on or what field you're in, everybody has their insecurities. Everybody has days where they're like, I just don't have energy. Even Robin Williams or somebody like this actor we're talking about over here. And ladies and gentlemen, next up, we've got an actress. Yes, she's also an actress, but she's known as a singer as well. She does a little bit of everything. She's definitely a Jack para hombres or a Jane of all trades, un todo terreno. And she was in Moulin Rouge. As I said, she was an actor in that movie, a very good movie. And she's an amazing singer. And some of the songs I love of hers are, you're just like a pill. Instead of making me better, you're making me rush to the middle of nowhere. And her stage name is Rosa or Rosita. But she's not the same Rosa from Operación Triunfo. It's a different one. All right? That's number 2. And number 3... He was a Swedish electronic musician and man, a young guy. He passed away in 2018, just so young, and became one of the greatest DJs in such a short time, right? In such a short time. You'll know a lot of his songs. Levels. Dun, 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 dun. He's got song after song that you'll recognize. One of them is very beautiful. Wake me up when it's all over. When I'm wiser and I'm older. Hey, brother. So many amazing songs. And what a tragic, tragic death. Supposedly, he committed suicide. He was really struggling, speaking of struggling, luchando against his demons, against his busy schedule. It's got to be difficult being young. He made it big when he was in his teens. As a teenager, 16 through 18, he was already huge. So it must be really difficult for someone to make it that big so young. And, he couldn't handle it. And unfortunately, the schedules, the fame, all of that stuff really got to him. And ladies and gentlemen, we have got a winner. She nailed it. Today's famous birthday trivia winner is Chris Valrol. Great job, Chris Valrol. Number 1 is Peter Sellers. Yeah, his real name is not Peter. His real name is Richard Henry Sellers, which Richard and Henry, they sound like good names. Like, Shakespearean names almost. Richard Henry Sellers. I don't know. I guess Peter Sellers worked because he became very, very famous. Number 2, Alicia Beth, a.k.a. also known as Pink. And I am a huge Pink fan. Huge. I love Pink. I love everything she does. She's pop, but she's got that rock element. She's got that raspy voice. And I love the lyrics. I love the lyrics to her songs as well. And last but not least, the late defunto Avicii. And Avicii, his real name, Tim Bergling. Tim Bergling. And I can't even imagine how much more he would have done. He was working on movies. He was working on even promoting young people. But it got to him, Como decimos en inglés, he was burning the candle at both ends, right? To burn the candle at both ends is dar demasiado, agotarte por todos los aspectos. You're working too much. You're not sleeping right. You're not taking care of yourself. And you know what I think? I'm convinced if he had people around him who really cared about him, maybe they weren't just thinking about the money and all that stuff, but maybe if he had people around him who cared about him, they would have said, man, You need to take a break. And speaking of, that brings us to his last interview. What we listened to in today's Say What soundbite is Avicii's last interview. And it's pretty crazy because he's talking about how he had a break and it felt really good. It really helped him out, but he sounds exhausted again. And just a couple days, I can't remember, a couple weeks, maybe a couple days later, he supposedly took his own life. So this was a clip, a snippet from his last interview. And he says, oh man, and so many trips to the hospital. Tantos viajes al hospital. Y acordaos, he's Swedish, but he spoke English very, very well. Obviously, when you're an international DJ, it helps. Ayuda un poco. So he's talking about trips that he had to be rushed to the hospital, right? So many like trips to the hospital and back and forth. Apúntate esta, muy importante. And back and forth. Y de un lado para el otro, ¿no? De un lado a otro. Back and forth. So much going on at the same time. Estaba pasando tanto a la misma vez. And then he says, it was a real relief. Esto lo vimos antes. Relief, alivio. Relieve, aliviar. Just be careful. El verbo lleva VE al final y el sustantivo acaba solo con F. It was a real relief. That 8-month break. Ese descanso de 8 meses. It happened right when it needed to happen. So this is the late difunto Avicii in his last ever interview.
And so many like trips to the hospital and back and forth. There was so much going on at the same time. So it was a real relief. Like that 8-month break happened right when it needed to happen.
All right, folks, and now it's time for our final section, Name That Lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. That's right. It is Name That Lyric only on the show with no name. I can't believe we made it to the end of today's show. I hope you were tickled pink. I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned English. And I hope you will stay here with us on Vaughn Radio. Remember, we've got tons of new shows coming up all day long. Todo el día. So make sure you download the Vaughn Radio app, and this way you can participate in all of your favorite shows. And thank you so much to all of you. Yeah, thank you so much for being here, for your support, for playing along, por jugar con nosotros, and for being wonderful people. All right, this is today's Name That Lyric, and I'm going to give it to you here. Levanta tu vaso. Raise your glass, o copa en tu caso. Raise. Remember this. Rise, R-I-S-E, es levantarse por sí sola, right? And raise lo tienes que hacer tú. So I'm going to raise my arm. Wow, the sun rises. Lo hace solo. It doesn't need something to act upon it. So raise your glass. Esto es, vamos a hacer un brindis. Right. Turn off the lights. Apaga las luces. We're going to lose our minds tonight. Esta noche vamos a perder la cabeza. Oh, I'm liking this. We're going to lose our minds tonight. What's the dealio? So we say, what's the deal? Pero si queremos ser graciosos, decimos, what's the dealio? What's the dealio? You can say, what's the deal? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué ocurre? What's the deal? I love it. I love when it's all too much. Me encanta cuando todo es mucho. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got a winner coming in right at the end there. It's Chris Balrol. The song, that's right. The song is Raise Your Glass by Pink, and it really is an awesome song. If you haven't heard the song, We're going to hear it right now, but I recommend you give her a listen, especially today. It's her birthday. Great excuse, air quotes, in parentheses, great excuse to listen to her awesome music. It's Pink and Raise Your Glass. And I raise my glass to you guys for being amazing students and for participating every day. Thank you so much. And I'm going to raise my glass to you guys. Woo!